Your presence here is not by accident. Something inside you has been pushing you to look for answers, even if you could not fully explain it. It feels like you have been waiting for a sign for a long time, something that could calm the thoughts you carry in silence. You have been holding a heavy emotional weight on your own. At times, it may have felt easier to stay quiet about it because you feared others would not understand you. You worried they might dismiss your feelings as overthinking or imagination. Still, there has been a part of you that never stopped speaking inside. That inner voice stayed with you even when you tried to ignore it or stay busy. You did not create this feeling on purpose. It did not come from nothing, and it is not something random. It feels like something deeper is rising in your life, something you are only now starting to notice more clearly. You may wonder if this is just emotion or confusion, but it keeps returning because it feels meaningful to you. There is a part of you that has been trying to explain it away, trying to stay logical and safe. You may have told yourself that it is just attachment or habit. But even with all that reasoning, the feeling does not fully leave. It stays in the background of your thoughts and returns when you least expect it. It feels connected to a specific person, and because of that, the emotions feel stronger and harder to ignore. Even when there is distance, even when there is silence, something inside you still reacts to them. That silence does not feel empty to you. It feels full of meaning, memories, and emotional weight that you cannot easily put into words. Your mind tries to understand it in a practical way, but your emotions respond much faster than logic. You feel things before you can explain them. That creates confusion because your thinking mind wants clarity, but your inner feelings move in another direction. This experience does not feel like something ordinary or random to you. It feels like recognition, like something already familiar deep inside. Even if you cannot prove it or describe it clearly, it feels significant. It feels like it has a purpose in your life. Every time you try to push it away, it seems to return. The more you try to ignore it, the more present it becomes in your thoughts. This can make you question whether you are imagining it or whether there is something real underneath it all. But the feeling itself continues to stay consistent. It is important to understand that your mind often tries to protect you by creating doubt. It looks for reasons to reduce emotional intensity so you feel safer. But your emotional experience does not always follow logic. Sometimes feelings remain even when logic cannot fully support them. You may notice that this connection has also changed you in some way. It may have made you think more deeply about yourself, your choices, and your emotional patterns. It may have brought up parts of you that were quiet before. Even if it feels uncomfortable at times, it has made you more aware of your inner world. At the same time, distance or silence from this person can feel difficult to understand. It may create questions that do not have clear answers. You might wonder why things are not moving forward, or why communication feels unclear or incomplete. These unanswered questions can create emotional tension inside you. Your mind may try to fill in the gaps with stories or interpretations. It may imagine reasons for the silence or create meanings to explain the distance. This is a natural response when clarity is missing. The human mind does not like uncertainty, especially in emotional situations. Still, beneath all of that thinking, there is also your emotional state. It carries its own weight and its own interpretation of what this connection means to you. Sometimes emotions feel stronger than logic, and that can make the experience even more intense. You may also find yourself reflecting on timing. You might feel like things are not aligned, or that something is unfinished. This can create a sense of waiting, even if you are not fully aware of it. Waiting for clarity, waiting for understanding, or waiting for something to change. During this time, you may also be growing in ways you do not immediately notice. Emotional experiences often shape people quietly. They influence how you see yourself, how you respond to others, and how you understand relationships in general. Even confusion can lead to personal development. There is also the possibility that the other person is going through their own inner process. From your perspective, their silence may look like distance or disinterest, but you cannot fully know their internal experience. People often carry their own fears, thoughts, and emotional struggles that are not visible from the outside. What feels like absence may simply be a lack of expression, not a lack of feeling. But because there is no clear communication, your mind tries to interpret it in different ways. This creates emotional uncertainty, which can feel heavy over time. Still, what you are experiencing is deeply tied to your perception and your emotional connection. It is real in the sense that you feel it strongly, even if its meaning is not fully clear yet. Emotions do not always provide immediate answers. Sometimes they unfold slowly over time. You may notice that this connection continues to stay in your awareness, even when you try to move your attention elsewhere. It can appear in thoughts, memories, dreams, or sudden emotional moments. These experiences can make it feel persistent and difficult to ignore. At times, you may wonder if this is something meaningful or just emotional attachment. That question itself becomes part of your internal process. You try to understand whether you should hold on to it or let it fade naturally. But clarity does not always arrive quickly in situations like this. What matters most right now is how you respond to your own emotional state. Whether you continue to explore these feelings or slowly step back from them, your awareness of them is already shaping your inner world. You are becoming more conscious of what you feel and how strongly you feel it. If you continue to think about this person often, you may notice patterns in your thoughts. Certain memories may repeat. Certain moments may stand out more than others. Your mind may return to specific details that feel more emotionally charged than the rest. Sometimes even small external triggers, like a sound, a phrase, or a place, can bring back strong emotional responses. This is how memory and emotion work together. They connect experiences to feelings in a way that feels immediate and personal. It can feel like signs or messages when these reminders appear repeatedly. But they are also part of how the human mind processes emotional significance. When something matters to you, your attention naturally becomes more sensitive to anything related to it. Over time, this sensitivity can make the experience feel even more meaningful. It can feel like everything is pointing in a certain direction, but it is also your mind trying to understand emotional importance through patterns. You are now in a phase where your feelings, thoughts, and interpretations are all active at the same time. This can feel intense because everything seems connected. Emotion, memory, and meaning all overlap. Even so, there is no need to rush to conclusions. Emotional experiences often take time to become clear. What feels certain in one moment can feel different later, and what feels confusing now may slowly become more understandable with distance and reflection. For now, what you are most aware of is the presence of this connection in your thoughts. It continues to appear in different forms, reminding you of something unresolved inside you. Whether it is about the person or about your own emotional needs, it is pointing you toward reflection. As you sit with these feelings, you may notice moments of calm and moments of uncertainty. Both can exist at the same time. This emotional contrast is part of the process you are going through. You might still wonder about signs, patterns, or meanings connected to this person. You might notice dreams, memories, repeated thoughts, or unexpected reminders that feel too aligned to ignore. These experiences feel personal and significant to you. But even as you notice them, it is important to stay aware of your own emotional balance. Your thoughts and feelings are active, and they shape how you interpret everything around you. The meaning you assign to these experiences comes from within you. What you are going through is a combination of emotion, memory, and meaning-making. It is a deeply human process of trying to understand connection and distance at the same time. And as you move through it, your understanding of yourself continues to develop quietly in the background. Whatever sign has stayed with you, you are asked to trust it and recognize it clearly. Let it settle in your awareness without fear or confusion. Say it to yourself in a simple and grounded way, without overthinking it. Because the signs that bring you peace feel different from the ones that come from fear. The ones that bring calm often feel steady and quiet inside you. The ones that bring fear usually feel loud, restless, or confusing. Your intuition already knows the difference between the two, even if your mind keeps questioning it. You are not imagining this connection in a careless or meaningless way. You are not holding on to something without reason. You are not waiting for something that has no emotional weight or importance. What you feel inside you has meaning to you, and it continues to stay in your awareness for a reason that feels personal and strong. What you feel is real as an experience. It moves through your thoughts, your emotions, and your attention. It affects how you see certain moments and how you respond to certain memories. This experience is active inside you, not something distant or imaginary. At the same time, things feel like they are shifting. There is movement in emotions, both in you and in the other direction you are focused on. Feelings that were once hidden or quiet seem like they are coming closer to the surface. Thoughts that were once unclear feel like they are slowly becoming more defined. There is a sense of change building. It feels like understanding is forming little by little, even if it is not fully visible yet. Truth feels like it is rising in layers, not arriving all at once. This creates the feeling that something is slowly building toward a moment of clarity. It may feel like everything is moving toward a single turning point, a moment that feels important, emotional, and life-shifting. This idea can feel strong because your mind naturally tries to connect emotional patterns into one meaningful direction. It looks for resolution when things feel uncertain. This sense of a turning point feels like it carries weight. It feels like something has been building quietly underneath everything you have experienced. The silence, the distance, the reflection, and the emotional growth all feel like they are leading somewhere in your mind. It can feel like life does not guide two people through confusion, distance, emotional intensity, and personal change without a reason. It can feel like all of this must be building towards some kind of shift or realization. This is how the mind tries to organize emotional uncertainty into meaning. The process of stepping back, reflecting, and going through emotional discomfort can feel like preparation. You may feel like you have been shaped by this experience in ways you did not expect. It can feel like something inside you is being adjusted slowly over time. In this state of thinking, it may feel like a turning point is near. Not in a dramatic or sudden way, but in a way that feels like understanding will eventually become clearer. You may feel like things cannot stay unclear forever, and at some point, something will become more defined. This moment of clarity, as you imagine it, does not feel subtle in your mind. It feels like something that would be hard to ignore. You may believe it would remove confusion and bring emotional certainty in a direct way. When emotions are strong, the mind often imagines clarity as something big and unmistakable. It expects answers to arrive in a way that feels final. This expectation grows stronger when there has been silence or uncertainty for a long time. You may also feel like the other person involved in your thoughts is going through their own internal process. From your perspective, their silence or distance may feel like emotional withdrawal. But from their side, there may be thoughts and experiences you cannot fully see or understand. Sometimes people do not express what they feel clearly, not because there is nothing there, but because they are dealing with their own inner hesitation, fear, or confusion. When communication is limited, your mind fills in the gaps with interpretation and emotional meaning. This can make silence feel heavier than it really is. It can make absence feel like something meaningful is happening in the background. Your thoughts begin to build patterns around what is not being said. Still, what you are experiencing inside yourself is real as an emotional process. It is happening within your awareness and shaping how you think and feel. Even if the situation outside is unclear, your inner experience is active and ongoing. There may be moments where you feel pulled between hope and doubt. One part of you may feel like something meaningful is still connected, while another part questions it and tries to stay realistic. This internal conflict can feel tiring at times. It can also make you more sensitive to signs, patterns, or coincidences. You may start noticing repeated thoughts, familiar reminders, or small moments that feel connected to your emotional focus. These experiences can feel significant when your attention is already centered on someone. Your mind naturally looks for meaning when something matters deeply to you. It connects memories, emotions, and events in ways that feel personal. This can make certain patterns stand out more strongly than others. Because of this, even small things can feel meaningful. A memory, a place, a phrase, or a random reminder can bring strong emotional reactions. This is how emotional attachment and memory work together in the mind. Over time, these experiences can start to feel like signals, not because they are external messages, but because your attention keeps returning to them. The mind gives importance to what it repeatedly focuses on. At the same time, you may feel like something inside you is changing. You may notice that your emotional reactions are not exactly the same as before. There may be moments of clarity mixed with moments of confusion, and both can exist together. This is part of how emotional processing works. Understanding does not always arrive in a straight line. It often comes in layers, with new feelings and thoughts appearing at different times. You may feel like you are moving towards something emotionally significant, a sense that something unresolved is slowly becoming clearer. Even if you cannot define it fully, it feels present in your awareness. This feeling can create a sense of waiting, not necessarily waiting for a specific event, but waiting for understanding, closure, or emotional clarity. This waiting state can feel quiet, but heavy at the same time. During this period, your focus may shift between your inner world and your external reality. You may reflect on what happened, what is happening, and what might happen next. These thoughts can overlap and create emotional intensity. It is important to recognize that your interpretation of events is shaped by your emotional state. What feels meaningful is influenced by how strongly you are feeling. The same situation can feel different depending on your internal mood and thoughts. Even so, your experience is still valid as something you are going through internally. It reflects your emotional reality, even if the full picture is not yet clear. Emotions do not always provide immediate answers, but they do show what is active inside you. As time continues, you may notice moments where things feel clearer and moments where they feel uncertain again. This back and forth is normal when you are processing strong emotional attachment and unresolved thoughts. You may continue to notice reminders connected to this person. These can appear in thoughts, memories, or unexpected moments during your day. They may feel meaningful because they connect directly to your emotional focus. But alongside all of this, your own inner stability becomes important. How you interpret these experiences, how you respond to them, and how much weight you give them all shape your emotional state. What you are going through is a mix of emotion, memory, reflection, and meaning-making. It is a deeply human way of trying to understand connection, distance, and uncertainty at the same time. There is no need to force a final conclusion right now. Emotional clarity often develops gradually, not instantly. What feels uncertain today may become more understandable later through time, reflection, and lived experience. For now, what remains most present is your awareness of this connection and the feelings attached to it. It continues to appear in different forms in your thoughts and attention. It continues to matter to you in a personal way. And as you move through this experience, you are also learning more about yourself, about how you feel, how you attach meaning, and how you process emotional uncertainty. This understanding grows quietly in the background, even when nothing else feels clear.